This is the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. I'm Ron Caroni, your host, and this week we sit down with a young investor from Saskatoon, Jovan Popovic. He has 2 rental properties and a primary residence at the age of 24. Really look forward to sitting down with him and getting his side of the story on why he became a real estate investor.
You're listening to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, where we chat with real estate experts from across the province to learn what's happening in the real estate market. Here's your host, Ron Caroni.
Hey Jovan, how's it going today?
It is going great. Thanks for having me on your podcast, Ron.
Thanks so much for coming on today, Jovan. Before we get into kind of the heart of the interview, I'd like to hear a little bit more about yourself. Tell us about your background and how you kind of came to investing.
Yeah, so I am 24 years old. I was working as a plumber for about 6 years, and currently I'm self-employed as of last week and doing real estate full time.
Congratulations. So with the plumbing, I'd imagine that helps out a ton as you're kind of finding these properties and you say, I can fix that, I can fix that, I can fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being around construction, all day long, I was always able to ask people questions, carpenters, electricians, everybody, if I needed advice on something, because most of the work that I did on my properties, I did it myself. So that definitely helped a lot.
So, Jovan, you're 24 years old. What does your current portfolio look like?
Well, at the moment, I have 2 rental properties, 1 duplex, 1 single-family home, and recently I took possession of another single-family home, which is going to be my first house hack.
Wonderful. That is so awesome. At a young age, I think a lot of people are kind of probably listening to this and say, 24, how the hell do you have 3 properties kind of under your belt? And take me through how those first 2 properties kind of fell into your lap, or how did those kind of come about?
Yeah. Well, it was definitely quite the journey, I guess. It's definitely not easy, trying to acquire properties at a young age. You get a lot of no's from a lot of people. But I mean, you just got to keep pushing through it, and you got to find that person that's going to say yes. And there's always a way to do things, right? So you just got to find the right person, and that's basically it.
So you lined up the seller kind of on the private side, Jovan, or Jovan, how did that go?
Well, actually, both of my properties, they were. I lived in the area, and I would drive by the properties, and they were both listed on the MLS, but they were kind of like the expired listings that nobody actually wanted to buy. Both properties needed quite a bit of work, and I mean, I just saw, the lawn wasn't cut on the property, and there was a for sale sign on it, so I knew I could probably get a good deal there, and so I decided to call my realtor and have a look at the property and put an offer in, and they ended up being great properties, great rental properties.
And so how old were you when that first property was bought?
First property I purchased when I was 20 years old, I believe.
That's incredible. So at 20,
Thank
did it seem fairly daunting going through that process? And take us through the mindset of how you felt buying that first property.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely quite the journey, I guess. I didn't really know anything about renovations or anything about the burst strategy. Or I started reading a lot of books and listening to podcasts and stuff like that. But at that point, I was still very, very new to the idea of investing in real estate, and I just kind of like just jumped right into it. And it was quite the learning curve for me, doing renovations on that property and going through the whole process. But it was there was lots of times when it was stressful, and but it was still enjoyable. And then at the end of the day, once the whole flip was over and the property was rented out, and I was able to refinance on the house, it felt amazing afterwards that I was actually able to pull something like that off.
And so you now have these kind of cash flowing assets that are going to stay with you for a long period of time. or you're going to have them and you're going to take them and put that money somewhere else. How does it feel to be like 24 and to have kind of a path forward and saying like for you, Jovan, is it being financially free? Is it early retirement? What is your ultimate goal with your rental properties?
Well, my ultimate goal is to be financially free, financially independent. I want to have enough passive income coming in that I do not have to work for every day, kind of thing. And I mean, I enjoy working. I love to work. I'm a hustler. I don't think I'll ever stop working, but that's the idea of not having to work. If I didn't feel like we're going to work tomorrow, and I just wanted to stay and lay in bed. Like I just want to be able to have that option in my life, kind of thing, rather than being dependent on that full-time job like most of the people are.
It's an interesting thing, right? The goal is not to ultimately retire and do nothing. It's ultimately to have more freedom. Would you say that's accurate, Jovan?
That's just it, exactly. Yeah, that is
Fantastic.
absolutely it.
So you do have a mentor, Jovan. Take us through that relationship and how important it was for you, kind of in those early stages, kind of having that oversight and getting that help.
Right, right. So, yeah, I heard about this local investor in my town, and eventually I got in touch with him, and we became friends, and it was definitely helpful having somebody like that. Once I purchased my second property and going through that whole process, it was nice having somebody to talk to and ask questions if I needed to, and even just having somebody that went through the struggle of getting started with the investing and getting a lot of no's and stuff like that. So just seeing his journey basically, and hearing all the horror stories and all the good stories from him definitely kind of helps motivate a person, to keep moving forward, and definitely shows proves to you that you can actually do these kinds of things, um, that anybody can do it.
So having that mentor at the early stages, it really allows you to kind of lean on their experiences, and you don't have to make all of the same mistakes that they did to kind of get those same lessons. You're able to listen to what they have to say, and really you're able to benefit from their years of experience.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's definitely one of the greatest things that happened to me was meeting somebody like that.
Would you say that's probably one of the keys if you were to try and give advice to another investor, young or old, is to try and find someone who can not to say it in a bad way, but hold your hand through those early stages?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, try and find somebody local that is already doing what you want to do, and offer them your help in any way you can. Like that's the one thing that you definitely have when you're starting out is lots of free time, and usually people that are already involved in real estate do not have time, not a lot of free time, anyways, and any kind of help that they can get is obviously always appreciated, right? So find a way to be valuable to that person, and try listen to them as much as you can. It's actually incredible how you think that it would be quite intimidating asking people questions and stuff like that, but it's actually really interesting how those people love talking about their journey, and they're very, very happy to help somebody along their way, because they were that person once before, and they like to provide help to the new investors. So
Right. And much like yourself, you're very passionate about real estate. So talking about the process and the buying and the flip and the refinance and kind of how that journey kind of unfolds, it is a process that maybe not a lot of people appreciate. So a mentor who finds that stuff very invigorating, it's probably incredible to find another person who shares those same kind of goals and same kind of passion.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. They pretty much see themselves or see themselves in you, like when they were starting out their journey, and that so yeah, they're definitely happy to help, and there's always people out there that are willing to help out. So yeah, just get out there and start meeting with people, and there's always going to be somebody that's willing to help out.
So, Jovan, we're sitting at 2 rental properties and a primary residence house hack right now. What are your ultimate goals? Or do you have a 5, 10, 15-year plan for real estate? Or is it just to continue to grow and see where it takes you?
Well, I'd like to get into multifamily real estate eventually. That is my ultimate goal. I do not have the kind of like the end goal at the moment. I guess I'm just gonna, keep doing what I'm doing and see wherever this journey takes me.
That's awesome. So, Jovan, I like to ask this question to a lot of people who come on the show. A lot of them are a lot older than you. So this makes kind of a funny question. But if you could go back and give a younger version of yourself advice, what would that advice be?
Oh man. Well, definitely do not care what other people think about you, or stop caring so much what other people are, thinking about you, and do whatever you want to, whatever it is that you want to do with your life. And, everybody's capable of doing amazing things. You just gotta not care about what other people think about you, and you can accomplish a lot. So that's definitely what I would suggest to younger version of myself.
Just
And anybody.
on a quick note on that, Jovan, because you are quite young, and I think a lot of people can look back to younger versions of themselves and say there was a lot more important things in life at that time than investing and buying real estate or starting a business or, really working on self-growth. What makes you different in that sense that there are a lot of other things you could be doing right now, but why real estate and why investing?
Well, for me, it's important. Like I want to have an extraordinary life. I do not want to live the average life that everybody else has. So, you know, in order to do that, you do have to sacrifice certain things. But at the end of the day, when you have certain accomplishments in your life, that makes you feel even greater, even better, rather than accomplishing small things. That like everybody else does usually. So that's
I have
kind of
goosebumps right now, Jovan. That's amazing. So if people
thank you.
want to follow along this journey of yours as you continue to go, where can people find you on social media? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, I have recently become more active on Instagram. People can find me at MRJOVANP. I will be posting more about my journey as I go along. So that's definitely where people can find me and look to connect with me.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really excited to see where you're going to be in the next year, 5 years, 10 years. So best of luck on that journey, Jovan. And I just wish you continued success and growth.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks again to Jovan for coming on the program today. Really appreciated his insights on what it takes to become a young investor. Be sure to follow Jovan on Instagram. And speaking of following, hit the like and subscribe button to see all the episodes of the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. I'm Ron Caroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional. Bye for now.
This has been the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. If you like this episode, find more information and episodes on our Facebook and YouTube pages. If you'd like to be a guest or have a conversation you'd like to learn more about, let us know by messaging the show on Facebook. Thanks for listening.